All right, welcome to the part 58. I'm gonna be this is the long this is the 101 page. I'll probably save those parts for a lot of parts that can include those parts. So interview transcriptions. This is that you can find familiar. So okay, so Clint Sharman, you'll be learning from her today. Clint Sharman, class of 2008. Interviewer, what is your name? Clint Sharman. When did you graduate? 2008. What major historical moments did you have in your high school career? Probably the biggest one that took place when I was here at North was the 2008 presidential election between McCain and Obama, which was clearly at the landmark. And now looking back, we didn't know how good we had it with those two candidates. We had a bipartis, bipartisan, bipartis, bipart, bipart, bipartisan. We had a bit, we had a bipartisan war hero in a very distinguished, distinct, dis, distinguished, distinguished, intelligent up and comer, and we ever since then it's just going downhill. It seems like so. Last like my words, for example. Sometimes I can't say it right, but sometimes I can't. Could have voted for either one of them, and none of them have been wrong. What was the school atmosphere like? Like whenever you were attending North, when I was here, the year that I graduated, where we were the last class that had to run the whole building, the class of 2009, I believe. The following year, they started to remodel. It wasn't completed for a couple years after that. It was a good, I guess. Everything was tighter, and we all that had that to be closer together all the time. Shared classrooms. We still had. Well, we probably still have a senior paper today, I imagine. But ours seem to be more chaotic than it is now from what I hear. They can dr- the they can drive was they can drive was like the popular thing. The can drive was still in the old senior circle, so we had something inside the bedroom to work where we were sorting all the cans and things like that. What did you enjoy most about this your high school career? Really, we had a large group of students in a community that seemed to be pretty low behaved, so everyone's friends were close by, even though there were some issues there and there, or here and there. But overall, everything seemed to work. Everything got along for the most part. I'm pretty sure there was bullying things and like that, but there wasn't anything that broke the bank, I guess. What it was the rivalry like between North and East? Heated with everything. I'm sure it's still the same now. But I mean, it didn't matter if it was a band or cross country, football or tennis. Everyone showed up and were upset with the other side of anything. But then afterwards, you see, as long as it was an event, we could be friends. I remember playing men's volleyball as a club, and we didn't have enough guys to fill up the roster. So we had a couple of East kids, and none of them are. And we were all pretty worried about, even though we would be on the same time. Still heated, right? Is it still that way? Yeah, good. What was your favorite class and why? I had a few favorite classes. I always enjoyed any sort of PE or gym classes, and I took advanced PE, which was weight training and Husher, hysteria, Husher, hysteria, and weight training. That's weight training is what I'm taking now, and Husher hysteria is, um, Husher hysteria is um, where I used to take that in sophomore year and first semester. I don't know if you still have Husher hysteria because it broke up a day really nicely. I always enjoyed that. I liked a lot of business classes. That group of teachers in particular seemed like you could really feel them caring about students for whatever reason. But probably most of my favorite class was U.S. history with Jerry Mahe. If you guys don't know who Mr. Maihei is, and Mr. Maihei is a really old teacher, he is 62 years old. And I don't know it why it was almost like your uncle telling you a story where he'll lecture. So that's probably why. But but Clint said that so but Clint said that the favorite class was U.S. history with Jerry Maihei or Gerald Maihei. Interviewer um, interviewer speaks, then Clint speaks. Did you have a favorite teacher? I don't think I want to answer that question. I had a lot of favorite teachers. I don't know if I can say I had a favorite teacher because I had a good relationships with a lot of administrators and teachers. Even though as an adult, when I see them around town, we still talk and catch up. I come back once a year and for the can dry, so I still see a few questions of them there. I'm gonna be a political and not answer the question. Interviewer said, "What was your favorite restaurants?" Or interviewer asked, "What was your favorite restaurants in Columbus when would go out to eat in high school?" Well, Olympia was around, right across the street. But that was always very busy. Man, I haven't thought about it for a long time. There used to be that Mexican restaurant called Baggio or El Baggio. And my lunch group would all I would always go there because they never tired of it, and I did. They would lure me to say, or in a card to say, we're going to go wherever we wouldn't go to Baggio today. And then sure enough, we would line up to Bajayo. I mean, the food was okay, but every 4 weeks was a bit much. Nothing against them, they're not around anymore. What was a hip or a cool place to meet up? I would have it be a hip or cool to know that. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know that there was only one place. I spent a long time in my friends' houses, but I don't know out in the town. Who was the principal? Mr. Clark. Did you have to do senior projects? If so, what was it? We were the last year of senior portfolios, which was great in the sense that it was easier for us, but not so great in the sense that we could sort up and or just pull it together at the last minute and not to have to worry about it. So I wasn't a build up. We didn't really have any time to manage anything to be able to finish our portfolio or to graduate. So no. What did a yearbook look like when you're in high school? They had a theme each year. I'm sure it's very familiar to what it is now. I don't know when it changed. I think it changed in the late 90s with Kim Green, and they started to have more succinct them yearbook themed yearbooks versus just a log and a year students pictures. In a club, pictures and team pictures. How many people were in the school total? I think when I graduated, we always have been hovering around 2,000, just up under or just over. The class of 2008 had, pardon me, 427. I remember that. At least I can think. I could be wrong, but somewhere over 400 for our class. What were the hot styles then? Trendy ways to dress. You're looking at it, I think. I think when I had it started in high school is like that indicates come back. So when I was in college, it was the early '90s. So there's neon, and we were short on guys. When I was in high school, I would think it would be probably be even more aspects of the '70s. So skinny jeans weren't really the thing. But most guys would wear straight legged jeans or boot cuts or something like that. Pretty normal looking clothes. Stuff that you might see your dad in, I guess. What was the defining moment in your high school experience? The defining moment? Oh man, what everyone else said. It was fortunate enough to be on a couple of good teams in high school. I ran cross country under Coach Weinhelmer. Miss, if you guys don't know who Mr. Weinhelmer is, Mr. Weinheimer, Weinhelmer. He used to be the English teacher, but he used to be the English teacher, but he now retired. So he is officially retired. He has been working for a long time. He's also a coach too, who is an expert of developing culture and team, and working for one another. But I was also the part of the men's volleyball club, and when it started, and we were not a good team. We were pretty bad, but it was a group of guys that who would, as long as we could stay in it, would do anything for each other because that's the way. I mean, volleyball is the ultimate team sport, and you can rely on just one person. Everyone on the floor has to work. So, what is your opinion made your time at North unique? I'm not sure. I had by all accounts that pretty, I think. I think anyway in normal high school experience, I was not unpopular. But I wasn't popular, just the middle of the road, mediocre, marginal. But I was involved in different sports, in clubs, and students assembly, so I had to guess a different relationship with teachers and administrators, and even students that we had to do work with and do project with things, and things like that. So you said about the participated in a couple of sports. Why did you choose to participate in those? I'm a younger sibling, and you kind of follow your older siblings' footsteps a lot. And times, my brother can run. My brother ran cross country in a high school, so I started running into the middle school at Central, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I looked up to Coach Weinhelmer and his group of athletes of his time when I was going to come to into high school, where the period of time where he was like running up state champions with Christian Lagner and Ben Milroy and Ryan Dixon. And those guys, so I was excited to come in and be a part of that team in the men's volleyball, and I don't know, it's just kind of a fluke thing. Some guys wanted to start and knew a coach who would help. And I jumped in and had a good time, so we lost a lot, but still had a good time. What was a defining new moment during your time at North? Probably mean like the 2008 presidential election again. I think when I was a freshman, Katrina had hit New Orleans, so it was that disaster and kind of culture shock of what people had to go through. Then my senior year was capped probably by the 2008 election by McCain and Obama. Do you have any final thoughts? We were talking about sports earlier and the culture of the people working by one for one another. I think my time at North was that a lot. I mean, I'm sure there was bullying, but I'm sure there was like a hurt and pain. But overall, I think the culture of North is working for one another at all time, or at least when I was here. I'm sure this is the same way now, but it's really a unique school that you have not just teachers who care, but the administrators. If you really talk to them, they all care. I mean, when I was here, the deans that I had are no longer here, but Mr. Sheridan, Mr. Payne, that if you were to talk to them, they didn't like yelling at kids. They didn't like getting kids in trouble. They didn't want to help students who they saw on a daily basis. If you have a conversation with Mr. Clark, he is completely goon. But he would do anything for you. Mr. Green and Mrs. Scott are the same way. That's all about it. I'm going to be reading Debbie Pratt in okay, so Debbie Hutton Pratt in the next part. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna be reading the e-learning overview FC, which is a choir class. Festival Choir e-learning overview, March 23rd to 501. Okay, so created previously in Mrs. Jennifer Goffron. Upcoming content commitments. CN Choir auditions must be submitted additionally by April 17th. Dance call will be uploaded to Google Drive and linked to the audition materials are already provided on its learning. End of the year concert, May 19th at 7:30, Ernie at Auditorium. Classwork overview. End of the year concert business. I want you back. ABC. Learn all notes and rhythms. One more piece. TBD. Learn all notes and rhythms. Sight reading practice for the future. These assignments will build a preparation for future contests. Notes. Utilize the schedule provided in this lesson on its learning. You may work ahead of course, but the expected work is listed by the day. All resources can be found under the Resources tab on its learning. Part tracks, the PDFs of sheet music, and etc. If you aren't graduating, submit your choir audition video. See your class its learning page under announcements for more information. Complete each day's assignments so we will not be behind when we return. This concludes the sight reading. It's good for you. Keep recruiting students into the CN choir program. It's never too late to change the schedule, but they must email their counselor. Goals for the return to high school. Know all notes for rhythm for I Want You Back, ABC, Primer, One More Piece, TBD. Know how to use solfege and takademi for sight reading. Miss Gafford does for like its learning. What she does about like for its learning that she doesn't. She only comes from like the. I'm gonna show you what they look like. I'm gonna go to its learning. Even though this was a long time ago, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go to Earthspace Science. I'm gonna go to Earthspace Science. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I swear it was right here. I swear it was right here. I thought I saw it. She doesn't do it. She doesn't do the. I mean, she doesn't do the. She doesn't do the regular assignments on the music. She just does in a different way. Just like um, just like this. Actually, forgot this. Like this term right here. This one right here. That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. About the. She just does. All she does is these things right here. Just these things right here. That's what she does. All right, so let's read something else. What should we read about? Piano and choir help teach. I was homeschooled around like March 23rd of 2020, and I was not enjoying it. So it was really, um, yeah, I was really stressed. This is piano and choir. What is the area in front of the main drape? Actors learn. Actors read Actors read A to learn their lines. Okay, so who is in charge during the production? What is a protagonist? Which type of stage where there are wings to right and left, and the audience sits in front of the stage, and which usually has a wide opening before which certain can be drawn and is known as what type of theater? The style of stage where the audience sits on three sides is known as what? It's a person who looks at the background information about a show to share with cast and crew. Kabuki makeup is known as, which involves bullet lines in red and blue painted on a face. Roman laws dealing with property, marriage, inheritance still continue to influence Western civilization. Kabuki and theater originated in which country? Japan. B, or no, not Japan. A, Japan. B, China. C, India. And D, Thailand. So yeah. I already did that about Miss Caffron, so E-learning schedule for Mrs. Gaffron. Okay, so updated by May 4th of 2020. Choir e-learning schedule. Okay, so Tuesday, or not Tuesday, but March 23rd to 20 March 23rd to 27th. I Want You Back, ABC, May 24th notes and rhythms. I Want You Back, ABC, Route 66, Wanting Memories, True Colors, and Live in a Living Color. Who Run the World Girls. Actually, this is for festival choir. I'm in a festival. I used to be in a festival choir around sophomore year. This is for festival choir, which is I Want You Back ABC, 25 Street Singers, which is Route 66, VP, Vocal Pony, Wanting Memories, and CC, which is True Colors, and NS for North Stars, which is Who Run the World Girls. This is, North Stars is for girls only. That's what I'm just saying. Project due April 27th by 5 p.m. Share with Mrs. Gaffron's email. Create your own show choir set. Portion use concert music instead of show choir music. Can use like jazz tone as well. Pardon me. End the semester. You're about to do some sort of creative musical project of your own or with classmates. Then write a paragraph about what you did and how music was influenced your life during quarantine. Examples of projects including writing your own composition, writing your own arrangement of an existing song, creating a cappella video using an app such as a cappella, or editing single tracks together in DAW like GarageBand, performing an existing piece of music with friends or alone, writing and performing an original song alone with or with others, and etc. You should use this project as a time to be creative and possibly exploring some of the music we haven't done in class. This is not meant to be stressful or overwhelming, quite this opposite. I would like to see this project as a break for the monotony many of us are experiencing during quarantine. Choose something that you enjoy doing. Not necessarily the easiest thing. You may choose to do something not listed in the examples that I provided. If you have any questions or are unsure of what may count, don't hesitate to contact me, but most likely if you put forth a real effort, and I can tell you it's not something you just slap together and I'll set this. You have almost a month to complete this, so take your time. I suggest you doing a bit each day, and I encourage you to view this less at work and more than this opportunity for exploration. Due by the last day of class, please share project and writings with Gaffron's, which is an email Google Drive. I did pretty chill music class, so history of theater grades through 10. History of theater grade 10. The greatest advance of the 19th century. The greatest events of the 19th century contributed to the growth of theater in rural areas. That advances was what? A. Electricity. B. Telegraph. C. Printing press. And D. Railroads. What do you think it is? Moliere is known as not only as a playwright but also for A. being a musketeer, B. flirting with Luis XIV's life. C. Acting and being in the first to adopt a stage. D. Create creating a stock characters still used this day. Pardon me. All right, free. They were free keys type on them. Plays presented during the medieval period. What were they? A. Mystery, Marvel, and Miracle. B. Historic, biblical, and shepherds. C. Mystery, Miracle, and morality. D. History, mystery, and mummers. 4. The movements that developed in modern theater. And your keys and authors include a theater of cruelty, Antonin Altrod. B. Naturism, Eugene O'Neill and Eugene Gorky. C. Realism, August Strindberg, Henrik Eisben, and Clifford Odets. D. All of the above. I get so confused. Sorry. 5. One of the unique features of melodramas was the response of lower class heroes and heroines. A. True. B. False. Women have always performed in kabuki theater. True or false? Despite being an insulated island nation for much of its early history, theater in Japan followed similar patterns to Western theater, using gods and history as source material. A. True or false? 8. Pardon me. Bunraku is a puppet theater performed with hand puppets. True or false? Is there a 9 up here? Where's 9? The purpose of the Greek courses was what? A. To comment on a scene. B. To act the audience as indicated below. Or they should be reacting. C. To narrate the story. A and C. E. All of the above. 10. As theater moved out from the church and the clergy, the people themselves began to perform. Often guilds took over and there was competition, or there was a competition to see who would have the most elaborate performance. True or false? Louis XIV was a French king supported by the theater and responsible for its rebirth. What was his nickname? A. The Fisher King. B. The Moon King. C. The Sun King. 12. The progression of theater in Japan was Bunraku Kabuki na. B. Na Kabuki and Bunraku. C. Na Bunraku and Kabuki. You guys know 13. So. Oh, I forgot to say Phelan, but. Alright. Commedia dell'arte has belongings in what country? A. France. B. England. C. Italy. And D. United States. I think it's A, right? Oh, okay. Why do the women in the crowds criticize Hester's scarlet letter? A. Its ornate design is inappropriate for a symbol of punishment. B. Its crude design the unbecoming and sloppy. C. The fine quality fabric should have been saved for a better purpose. D. It is misspelled. The term shock, sorry, the term stock characters came into being during this period because the specific characters had style and traits that were consistent across all plays. Some of the stock characters of Commedia dell'arte include El Capitino, the lovers, B. Brigella, Pantalone, C. Two daughter, Halogino, D. A and B, E, all of the above. Alright, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll be able to help you. This was made by Anonymous. We know that because I copied it all around there, even though I was kind of the anonymous one. That's okay. So, if you guys have any concerns, just let me know in the comments and I'll be able to help you. Alright, so you guys in a part 59.